This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome to another episode of the Animanicast.
Was a guy named Joe from Kokomo playing that piano rag.
He banged the keys with his head and his knees, playing that piano rag.
He twiddled with his toes and he diddled with his nose, playing that piano rag.
And when the day was done, he had some fun, playing that piano rag. He was playing that piano rag.
What? Where are we? Yes, we're here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Animanicast. We're a podcast dedicated to the Animaniacs. We talk about the Animaniacs. We talk about all the gags, all the jokes, all the references, all the just cool stuff that is and was the Animaniacs cartoon show. And I am Joey. Hello. And with me, as always, are my brother Nathan.
Hi, Joey.
Hi. And all the way over in Georgia is Kelly.
Hi, Joey.
Hello.
Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Kelly.
And now that we've all said hello to everyone, today we're talking about episode 7 of Animaniacs, which was originally aired on September 21st, 1993. And there's only 2 major segments in this particular episode, and quite a bit of filler, including Nathan's favorite segment.
Newsreel of the Stars.
The newsreel of the stars. We started off with that. And then, of course, the variant verse was, again,
Here's the show's namey.
here's the show's namey.
Yep.
Again.
Okay. How original. It's the third time?
Meh.
Third time, yes. It was the third time. 3 out of 7. We're still about 50%. A little less than 50%. And then we start off with a tower escape once again. And actually, when I was watching this again, I thought, are they going to do the balloon once again? I was like, we've already seen 2 things in a row that we've already seen in just 7 episodes. But it was a little bit different. They escaped through a kind of the center pipe of the water tower. There's like a flushing noise, and then they escape through the center. I actually had to look because I've seen water towers all my life growing up, but I don't know how they exactly work.
Yeah.
So it turns out that center pipe in the water tower is actually, it is used for kind of pumping up water up into the water tower, or putting it out, or something like that. So there you go. I learned something about water towers today because of this episode.
Thanks to the Animaniacs.
There you go. Thank you, Animaniacs. But we're going to go right into the segments right here, which there's only 2. And the first one is Piano Rag. Piano Rag was written by Nicholas Hollander, directed by Michael Gerard. Nathan, what can we say about Piano Rag? What is this basically about?
So, there's a piano recital in this episode. It's very prominent in it. It starts off with Dr. Scratch and Sniff, Ralph, and Hello Nurse are chasing the Animaniacs around the lot, and the Animaniacs sneak into the piano recital, and then they cause all sorts of disruptions, and that's pretty much the whole episode.
Well, sort of. I mean, we'll go ahead and spoil the ending. What happens?
So they finally catch the Animaniacs, they throw them in the truck, and then it turns out it wasn't the Animaniacs, so it was actually the pianist.
Yes.
Pianist. Everyone, I said that.
Good night, everybody.
So there we go. So that is our that episode. I mean, that's basically what happens. They
Next
cause
segment.
chaos, and no, but it does have some cute stuff in here, including a couple references I caught to other cultural references that I caught to other stuff. First of all, I think we should mention that the voice of Mr. Timpanini, I believe is his name. The voice, I was watching the episode going, okay, this guy sounds familiar. This is not one of the regular voice actors. And Kelly, do you know who it was voiced by? Mr. Timpanini? There's a Spielberg reference, a Spielberg connection, I should say.
Oh, really?
Yes, quite a big one.
Oh goodness, you're putting me on the
Okay,
spot.
I'll do my impression. I'll do my impression
Okay.
of the voice actor and see if you can get it. Here we
Okay.
go. I am the monarch of the sea.
John Rhys Davies.
Yes, John Rhys Davies.
I met him. He tickles.
Oh, he tickles.
He does. I posed for a picture with him, and he tickled me and made me laugh.
That's strange.
I thought he only did it to women, but he did it to my friend Brian too. So he's an equal opportunity tickler. I'm not making that up.
That sounds cool.
It's
Okay.
ridiculous. He's so funny and nice, but I did not expect to be tickled by John Rhys Davies.
I don't think anyone ever expects to be tickled by John Rhys Davies.
No, not me. John Rhys Davies, of course, is is best known for playing Sala in the Indiana Jones movies.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Asps. Very dangerous. You go first.
And as well as Mr. Dwarf guy in the Lord of the Rings.
Is that his
Gimli,
actual name?
right?
Oh,
Yeah, what was his name again?
Gimli?
Gimli. Sure, yes.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
And he was in Sliders.
And he was in Sliders, and he was also in a bunch of really bad sci-fi channel movies. he does lots of movies. In fact, I'll do another plug for a different podcast called The Depths of Netflix, hosted by Dan Brooks and Pablo Hidalgo from Lucasfilm, and they watch a bunch of bad movies on Netflix and then talk about it. And so far, at least 2, maybe even 3 of the films that they've watched have had John Rhys Davies in them. So if you're a John Rhys Davies fan and you want to see some of his work, go to The Depths of Netflix and check out that podcast. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so there you go. John Rhys Davies, voice of Timpanini. Well, what are some of your favorite lines? Some of your favorite moments of this particular thing? Let's start with Kelly. What do you particularly like? Anything that stands out in this first segment?
Well, we referenced it briefly before the show, but I liked it when the Warners were jumping on people's laps and saying, excuse me, and then they said in reverse, siblings, and then they actually play what they just said backwards.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before the show. There's that moment where he goes, okay, reverse Warner siblings, and then they go back and say exactly what... Yeah, that's exactly what they said. How was that again, Nathan? Wow. You're good. We'll have to play that backwards and see what you really said.
Oh, don't play that.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just cussing a lot.
Oh no,
sorry.
We're gonna get an explicit rating this episode.
Uh-oh.
But I do want to give a plug-in for an Animaniacs fan out there. Pika Sky, I believe is how you pronounce this, and it's Pikaski. Pika's Kai, whatever. You have a weird name, man. But he actually put an awesome Instagram. He actually has a bunch of different Instagram videos. If you want to check them out, everybody, and some of them are really good. And he actually has one that pointed out when you actually put closed captioning on the Warner Brothers as they go back in reverse, the folks who did closed captioning actually did write the words backwards that they said initially going out. So, which was nice of whoever that closed captioning person was. I mean, they could have just written talking backwards.
Yeah.
But they actually went through the trouble of actually writing the exact sentences backwards, which was cool. So excellent good job there, Pika Sky or Pika's Kai, looking out for everybody, finding that little Easter egg right there in closed captioning.
We're out of here. Excuse us.
Coming through.
Make way.
Pardon us.
Gangway.
Gotta go.
Pardon us.
Coming through. Uh-oh.
Hit reverse, Sibs.
Where's the mus?
Sandra. Sandra.
Where's the mus?
Sazit.
Piano Rag has a quite a few different little cool little jokes and cute little things. Nathan, what do you notice?
The scene where they're eating popcorn, we get to see Wacko's bag, with they get to pull out everything out of it again, including I think a candy store at the very end.
There was even a candy store at the very end. I don't know how Tim Panini was able to hold all that stuff in somehow able to hold it all, except for he puts one more like jawbreaker or bubblegum thing on top, and he goes crashing through the floor. That was pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I caught that I'm just going to go straight to the pop cultural reference right now is Wacko hands him, he starts chewing bubble gum.
Okay.
And he blows a bubble, and Tim Panini goes, "Give me that right now," and blah blah blah. Gives him the bubble gum, and he bashes his piano to pieces. And everyone starts clap. That's probably like the biggest applause Tim Panini gets in the entire episode. I think it was kind of funny that the audience, it was a packed crowd.
Yeah.
But everyone was looking very bored for this concert that they paid for. But that got the audience really, clapping like crazy. And Yakko, Wacko, and Dot all light matches, and they say,
Very Pete Townsend-esque.
Exactly.
So you get that, Nathan?
I didn't get it until I looked up who Pete Townsend was.
Yeah, so I knew that Pete Townsend. I was like, oh, so Pete Townsend, like, the name again. I knew the name. I was like, oh, he must smash his guitar a lot, which he does.
Okay.
But of course, Pete Townsend is a member of the band.
Who?
Exactly.
Who?
Oh, that reminds me. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Y'all know where this is going. But Woodstock's Slappy episode.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
This is the first kind of Who reference kind of that we get, and of course in Woodstock Slappy we'll get another one. But yes, so this is another like Pete Townsend in the Who exactly. Ha ha ha.
But ting. Yeah.
And then they also make kind of I think they called it the dog pound of Arsenio Hall. They go hoo 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 hoo. That's something that could go over the heads of some kids today when,
it's over my head.
It was over your head. I think they actually said "hoo hoo hoo hoo" like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you kind of perhaps do a double joke right there with Arsenio Hall and Pete Townsend. That was my one pop culture-ish thing.
It's pretty much all.
But that was to make some other connections though. I made some forced connections that are connections now in retrospect, like Hello Nurse, who. I gotta say, Hello Nurse looked especially curvaceous in this particular episode.
Yeah, even Dr. Scratch and Sniff was hitting on her in this episode.
I know.
It's like, whoa.
Ralph, you take the back. Miss Nurse, you take my breath away. No, you take the...
And yeah, Dr. Scratch and Sniff does say that. And I had to rewind that and say, what did he say? Because I actually couldn't understand Dr. Scratch and Sniff, that one line of "you take my breath away."
Yeah.
But she, it reminded me of Jurassic World because she's running in high heels.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
So they based the movie off this episode.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It all has an origin, ladies and gentlemen.
House Spielbergian.
Very much. What other things? Because there's some funny stuff in this. I think was cute.
Yeah, I like the music. The composition was good. Apparently, it was composed just like after the drawings. Did you read that?
The whole thing about I did read that he's mentioning playing a Schubert. He keeps saying now the Schubert.
Once again, the Schubert.
Schubert, he keeps talking about he's going to play this composition, but of course this composition does not really exist. There's another connection there. The writer, who wrote the episode again? It was
Nicholas Hollander wrote this episode.
Yes, you can see kind of the guy who brushes out and then pushes in the piano. So when he takes out the collapsed piano and then puts in that's Nicholas Hollander. That's a caricature of the writer right there, Nicholas Hollander. So that was something kind of cool. They did focus the camera on him a lot. I was like, he has to be somebody. So there you go. Kelly, anything that you liked about this particular first cartoon?
I did like the names of the pieces. Like you said, I guess they were entirely made up. But Schubert was a real composer. And then he mentions Ludwig von, and then I can't remember what the last name was, so it was kind of like a slight reference to Beethoven, I was assuming.
Von Tatzberger's Pavan and Dirge in C minor, opus 7 and 11.
But the names of these pieces were ridiculously long, and I tried to look up some of them just to see, double check that they weren't real, and I couldn't find them, or I wasn't typing them in correctly if they do exist. But I thought that was kind of fun, just the names of the pieces and how really stuck up the guy was about it. Only you have to have a certain mastery to even appreciate the beauty of this piece, and only I can play it.
Regretfully, only a sophisticated ear as mine own can fully appreciate the sheer depth of this masterpiece.
He was very grandiose.
Yes, he seemed to really kind of like to have a hatred towards his own audience who couldn't go see him.
Yeah.
So
you're too unsophisticated to understand.
Why are you even here? Why am I even doing this for you people? Yeah. I did have probably my favorite line in the episode was actually Wacko telling him to pull a rabbit out of his pants. That was pretty funny.
I don't think he's a magician.
Sure he is. This is just a setup.
Hey, mister, pull a rabbit out of your pants.
I remember that from the promos. They would play that line a lot.
Wow.
That is a funny. Yeah, it is funny. The one line that was actually kind of confusing to me as an insult was Dr. Scratch and Sniff saying, "Your mother used Pampers."
I saw that.
I was like, I had to listen to it a few times and go, wait, why is that an insult?
I couldn't figure that out either.
Your mother used Pampers.
So, okay, Dr. Scratch and Sniff maybe I don't even know if it was just an insult. Maybe he just knew something about the guy.
That's true.
He is older than him, perhaps, so maybe he knew. I knew your mother. But yeah, it was a pretty solid, first cartoon. Not a lot of extra stuff to talk about, but it was cute.
Yeah, there's little, just fun and little music, to go around with it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the second segment right now, which is entitled When Rita Met Runt, and this is written by Sherry Stoner and directed by Michael Gerard. And Kelly, what would you basically say about this particular cartoon? What went on?
This is the first introductory episode of Rita and Runt. So we meet these characters for the very first time. And Rita has been turned into the city pound. Her owner wanted a cute, cuddly animal. She's just gone through a breakup. She's, I guess, wanting something comforting. And Rita is too intelligent and just sort of stares at her and like she's better than her or something. And she doesn't like it. It's not helping her feel any better over her breakup.
Have a kid, lady.
So she turns in Rita, and then Runt is a dog who's turned in, and he can't be potty trained. So they both get turned into the pound, and they're in different cells next to each other. And so they end up talking and singing, and they don't realize that one's a cat and one's a dog.
Yeah.
And then eventually they escape together, and, well, let's see. Rita is shocked to find out that Runt's a dog.
And Runt still doesn't know that Rita's a cat.
Yes, exactly. So, yes.
Well, I'll just mention two more things.
Uh-huh.
Runt talks like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man,
Mhm.
because I know he was inspired by that character.
Definitely.
And definitely.
20. 20? Yeah. I mean, it's going to hit on 20? Yeah, 20. Definitely 20. $3,000 on 20. Definitely 20. Definitely 20? Yeah.
And Rita, I was always I thought it was cool that she's voiced by Bernadette Peters, who one of my all-time favorite movies from when I was a kid is Annie with Carol Burnett
Yes.
and Albert Finney. And Tim Curry is in it and Bernadette Peters. And so that's when I first was introduced to her. And I've always been a big fan of her ever since. So I always thought Rita was really cool being voiced by Bernadette Peters.
I always liked Bernadette Peters in Annie for the Easy Street was the big song that they sing. Really, she sings in that, which I remember watching that as a kid and going, whoa, because there's some moments.
Oh, well, definitely. That some of the humor in that movie is a little mature, and I watched that movie a million times as a kid and never quite got all of it, but it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Well, one of my favorite Bernadette Peters movies is The Jerk.
That's a great one.
I really do like that one with her and Steve Martin. She's just and certain lines from that I continually, for some reason, come up in conversation from now and then. For example, the "Do you have a balloon?" The line.
Do you have a balloon? No. Oh wait, yes.
And he pulls out a balloon.
It's already inflated and everything.
Yes.
Turn sideways.
Okay.
And put a balloon in your mouth. Do you have a balloon?
No. Oh, wait, yes.
Okay. Is it in your mouth?
Uh-huh. Now throw them good and hard so they'll stick.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I missed.
Honey, you did good.
She's really in that movie. Just it shows like she's already a fantastic singer, but in that movie it really shows off some of her comedy. She plays such a crazy woman in that, and then of course she was one of my first introductions to her really singing, other than Annie, was actually I remember in middle school, my chorus teacher played for us the production of Into the Woods, and she played the witch in that movie. And of course, most recently, that movie was played by Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
played the witch, and I thought, oh, she did. And Meryl Streep did a very nice job in that. But I really wish that they could have got Bernadette Peters back for that.
You're so nice. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just nice. I'm not good. I'm not nice. I'm just right. I'm the witch. You're the world.
By the way, if you have not, listeners, if you have not yet heard Jess Harnell's story about Bernadette Peters, about him first meeting Bernadette Peters, check out episode 1A to hear a story about that. He basically picked her up and held her for a little bit, saying she was like a little kid or like a little doll or something like that.
You're so tiny.
Yeah. So, so he has Jess Harnell had a very funny story about that, and a very funny story about meeting Steven Spielberg for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Jess Harnell, he's a wacky guy.
I love Steven Spielberg.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Wait.
I just had to throw out there for the new listeners who may not know.
Oh yeah, there you go. We have to hit certain things.
If you've just tuned in,
yes, halfway through this episode. By the way, you should rewind to the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
and hit that.
Listen to the beginning of the episode.
Yes, and then when you get to this part, then you'll be caught up.
It's good.
Good. All right. Good. We got that straight.
Well, speaking of the jerk, I felt like there was almost a reference to the jerk with Runt's name. He said,
I caught that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, my master called me stupid.
My name's Runt, but my master calls me stupid. What a nice guy.
In the syndicated version, at least.
The syndicated version of The Jerk, Steve Martin's character, Naven, calls his dog Stupid because one of his... It's a long story, but basically somebody suggested that he call his dog Stupid, and Steve Martin's character is so dumb that he doesn't know that is
it's
bad.
Like sarcasm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like...
But growing up as a kid, I thought that was really the dog's name in the movie until I saw later the unedited, uncensored version. Yeah. And I'll just give you a hint. The dog's name is not Stupid, although it is something else that starts with an S. So there you go. But yes, I did catch that too, and I was like, is that a reference to The Jerk, or is that just because I'm hearing Bernadette Peters and I'm thinking of The Jerk?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought that too. Well, you're not alone, at least, Nathan. But it was pretty good. I probably I'll go to you guys first. Kelly, you introduced the segment, so what were some of the highlights that you particularly liked in this cartoon? Be nice.
I'm just not that much of a fan of the Rita and Runt episodes.
Yeah.
So I didn't really take a whole lot away from it.
Well,
I didn't even really like her song. It reminded me of some other song somewhere though. Is it based on a real song? I know a lot of Rita songs are kind of inspired by show tunes and different things like that, but did y'all get the same sense?
I did get it did get the sense that it was based upon kind of a offbeat, like the beat to it wasn't a standard kind of thing. I agree. I will say this about the song. The animation I thought was pretty cool during that.
Although there was one scene where the bars were gone and then you see the shadow of the bars still. I'm like, what?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah. When she's like, I'm leaving, so just whistle if you need me. And you can see on the floor there's still bar shadows.
Oh.
Where there should not be.
Oh, burn.
Burn to you cartoonists.
It seemed familiar, though, outside the context of the show. And I tried to look it up to see if I could find maybe what inspired it, or if there was, if it was a parody of something, and I hadn't come up with anything.
There is that little talky part of it.
But I ain't gonna love 'em, not gonna answer that call.
Yeah.
And that part changes. I'm not in no way a musical theater expert. Yeah. I know that Bernadette Peters is considered to be a Stephen Sondheim kind of protege or expert or whatever you want to call her. So I thought that it might have been a little bit of that, because I know that like Into the Woods has some talky moments where they don't sing necessarily, but they have to talk at a certain beat and a certain inflection and everything like that. So I thought maybe could have been a little bit of Stephen Sondheim, but listeners, I don't know. Hey, if you have any kind of ideas of what you think that song sounds familiar to you, hey, send it on over to us via Facebook or Twitter, and we'll share it out with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm much more an Andrew Lloyd Webber fan than Stephen Sondheim, so I
Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, excuse me.
I like how we vote.
Yeah, we listen to Comedy Bang Bang, so
Paul F. Tompkins comes on as
Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's a lord.
Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's who I am.
You can just go through Comedy Bang Bang's library and just find anyone's with Paul F. Tompkins.
Yeah, that'll be funny.
And you'll find anyone with Andrew Lloyd Webber is a hilarious one. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
But the anime, probably the highlight for me was probably the animation, just how the floor changed to, and they did like 360 shots, it was pretty ambitious.
Shadows and
the floor changed into the couch, and then it melted down, and I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, the animation of that was probably the highlight for me, because when it came to laugh out loud stuff,
there wasn't much.
It was cute, but I'm with you, Kelly. I mean, Rita and Runt growing up. I mean, one of our listeners said a while ago on Twitter that the Mindy and Buttons segments were something like, he said, okay, it's time to get a snack. But for me, it was definitely Rita and Runt. Definitely Rita and Runt. Because I don't know. I like Bernadette Peters.
You like Rain Man?
I will. I do. I grew up. I saw Rain Man when it was first out with my grandmother, of all people. I don't think she realized she was taking me to an R-rated film. But yeah, there's one particular scene that it's like Tom Cruise and his girlfriend are in bed, and it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm 7, 8 years old. My grandmother's sitting next to me, and I feel incredibly awkward right now. But yes, I mean, I actually used to, growing up, my mom used to love used to always do a Rain Man impression of my mom. It was so hilarious. But I will say this, I did like this segment, I think, more than I did originally as a kid. And there was little gags in it that I thought they were kind of cute, like when Runt escapes and he basically just bashes through the brick and leaves a hole. I thought he was just squeezed through the bars, that she had taken out, but they just bashed through. The guy, I have a government job, that kind of stuff.
I hate government work.
I hate government jobs.
So that stuff was cute. And do they gas dogs and cats? I always thought they gave them shots.
I don't know.
I was like, I don't know what they do with this pound, but they're gassing the dogs. I was like, that's not right.
I mean, that's what Rita says they're going to do. So what does she know? She's just a cat. I do like I thought they did a good depiction of a cat and a dog, I thought, I was like, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Nathan, you have 2 cats. What do you?
Yeah.
And Kelly, do you have dogs?
I do.
And I have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, so the animation, in your opinion, very cat-like.
And cats are very, I don't know, looking down at me and judging me all the time. Right now, I just know they're in the other room.
They're just listening. They're just listening, and they're sending us bad reviews on iTunes.
Oh yeah, I have to go through and delete them. It's so much work. The Animaniacs showed up in this episode, and Rita and Runt were in the previous segment.
Yeah, so that's kind of a twist on things, because Rita and Runt so far have done, I believe, 3 cameos. They were in Nighty Night Tune.
The show, the Desanitizing?
Yes.
Is that what the segment was?
Yes, Desanitized, and then they were in this particular, just right here before, Piano Rag.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So now the Animaniacs get to do their little kind of Singing in the Rain-esque kind of cameo. So, yeah. Well, that was pretty much it.
And now it's time for the results of the last Twitter poll question. Listeners were asked which hashtag Animaniac segment below is the best. 13% said Mime Time. 15% said the Randy Beeman Kid. But with a dominating 72%, listeners said that Good Idea, Bad Idea was the best Animaniac segment. And based upon those results, it sounds like it was a bad idea to have that as a question. That's just my opinion. Well, let's listen to the new question for this week.
Those were our Twitter results for the week, and it, not really a big surprise that, for me at least, that Good Idea, Bad Idea won.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan?
I voted for it too.
You voted for that?
Yeah.
Kelly, which of those 3 choices did you prefer? Which of those segments do you like the most?
I'll say Good Idea and Bad Idea as well.
Yeah. It's really, it's a good classic kind of thing. And, I don't know. It was really a no contest kind of thing for me as well.
Guess. I mean, I considered the Mime Time just because I learned some miming moves from it. Like, oh, that's how you act like you're climbing a ladder or getting blown by wind. But yeah, I was ultimately funnier was, Good Idea, Bad Idea.
All right. So that is the winner for this week. And we have, coming up next week, we have one of the most classic episodes of Slappy and Skippy Squirrel. And that, of course, is Bumby's mom. And this is going to be kind of a spoiler alert, but Skippy cries a lot in this movie. He is traumatized quite a bit in the movie, in the cartoon Bumby's Mom. So I was wondering, what kind of movies today, or even in the past, would Skippy cry to today? What would be a movie that you would not want to take Skippy Squirrel to? Because he would just start crying. So that's what I asked you guys, and we're going to take a vote, and we're going to see which one of the films would Skippy cry. I'm going to say the most in, because he'd probably cry in all of them.
That's true.
If it's traumatic. But which one would produce the most gallons of tears, I'm going to say. So, Kelly, do you have a movie in mind that you think Skippy would just lose it in?
Well, nowadays, it's still a little bit of an older movie, but it's certainly more contemporary than the ones he was watching in the episode, or the ones that they were parodying. But I think Marley and Me, because that one killed me. That I couldn't deal with it.
I still have not seen Marley and Me, just for the fact that I know that it doesn't end well for Marley.
Yep.
So I'm like, I don't think I want to see that movie.
Yeah, why would I want to see that? Like, what?
I know dogs are awesome.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and I'd read the book and knew what was going to happen, and I went to a special place in my mind and started singing Yakko's World in my head. I was like, I can't watch it. I got to focus on something else.
That's one trick right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going through a traumatic experience, just sing The Nations of the World.
It really diverts your attention.
Yeah, there
exactly.
you go.
Nathan, what about you? What's a movie that you think that Skippy would just lose it in?
Well, I just gonna go with the classic of Up, I think.
You stole my idea.
Oh, okay. I just that intro, no talking even, it's just so sad. It just, I don't know, kills me every time. But I mean, there's other ones I could name easily if you need to name something else, but
well, since you stole Up from me, I'm going to go to a different one. I'm going to go to one that's not going to win. I can tell right now, but who knows? It depends on how many Star Wars fans out there.
Are you?
But there's
you had to say the one I think I was going to say next.
Okay, well, I had two sad moments in Star Wars that I can think of. The one that really I remember made me kind of do one single tear at was in The Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon dies. And he's telling Obi-Wan that he has to train the boy, and he goes, "He is the chosen one," and he dies. And I could have done that, or it could have been episode 3 with "You are my brother, Anakin," but I decided to go.
You were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to bring order to the galaxy.
All right, what's your sad moment in Star Wars?
Well, I have two, but the one I still am emotionally scarred and traumatized by is Force Awakens. We don't like to talk about that.
Oh yes.
Because I remember when I saw that in the theater for the very first time, I literally looked away from the screen, and then it started going to the next scene with some the fighting and everything. I'm like, wait, no, we need to stop for a second because I have to. I need some time to cope and deal with what just happened. And every time I've seen the movie, which is probably I think about 5 times in the theater, and I lose it every time. I start sobbing when the music starts, particularly John Williams kills me.
By the way, that music, it's very distracting. I was playing the Force Awakens Lego game, and that music specifically, we'll just say it because if you didn't know by now, folks, come on, really? Han Solo gets killed.
Skip ahead 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, Han Solo gets killed, and that music that happens specifically when he's just about to get stabbed and when he falls down plays over and over in the Force Awakens Lego game.
I couldn't deal with that. That's some tense music.
And it's just meant to be like, ooh, this is tense music as we're going through Starkiller Base. And I'm like, this is the music where Han Solo gets killed over. So I'm like, I'm hearing it over and over again as I'm bashing things with my lightsaber and stuff. So,
well, I said there were 2, and the other one, of course, is in Return of the Jedi when Yoda becomes one with the Force.
Oh yes. You know, that never made me cry as a kid, but
you heartless person.
I know. Well, I just thought it was, to me, I knew what happened. He becomes a blue ghost at the end. I'm like, well, it's not that bad.
No, he's a cute little ghost.
It also reminded me of the Dark Crystal a lot when those creatures in the Dark Crystal.
Gelfling.
When Jin's adopted father dies, he disappears. But anyway, so we're getting off on multiple tangents right now.
So we'll just say the saddest Star Wars movie, and then the Twitter poll can.
Okay, should we do an all-encompassing deaths of Star Wars? No, we'll say maybe.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's another. I'm gonna go with my first one, which I know it's not. Okay. It's not gonna win, but it's gonna be. You know what? We'll change it because Kelly flipped me on it. I'm gonna say the death of Han Solo. I think that's gonna have more resonance.
That on Twitter.
I'm gonna. It's go.
You'll be the first person
before the movie.
You'll be the first person to have written it on Twitter.
I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna get all the flack from all the 2 people who have not seen that movie yet. So so we'll put that up on Twitter. It's the movie Marley and Me. Would Skippy cry the most in Marley and Me, in Up, or in I'll just say the end of The Force Awakens, wink wink, basically. Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you obviously haven't seen the movie, and I'll just leave it at that. So go ahead and go over to twitter.com/Animaniacast to make your voice heard.
Hello, listener. This is Jess Harnell, the voice of Wacko and Animaniacs, and you're listening to Animanicast, which is the best thing you could possibly listen to, especially if you're not wearing pants. I'd love to go on talking to you, but I can't because I've got a potty emergency. See you later.
Well, before we wrap things up and give our the water tower rating, we have, of course, a chase ending at the very end, where I'm pretty sure most of the animation is the same as the other chase ending, the ladder ending where he goes in, except for this time when they open up the bag, there's a barber chair, and they go up into the sky and get off the barber chair. The barber chair goes back down. Ralph tries to do the same thing, which honestly, Ralph, at this point, they've already gone to the water tower. Just let them go in.
You're trying to get them to go to the water tower.
You've done your job. It's not good enough.
Go home.
Ralph has to get up there too. He tries to do the thing, and a giant, huge 2-ton sandbag falls on him out of nowhere for no particular reason. And that was a cute little thing right there. And of course, at the very end, we end with "Goodbye, Nurse," I believe.
Which they've done that before as well.
At least once, yes. Mm-hmm. So again, this episode altogether, we did had 2 new segments, and we had some filler stuff that we had seen before, or at least variants of that filler stuff that we'd seen before. What are your reviews? What are your water tower ratings? Let's go with Nathan first. Nathan,
okay.
What do you think?
I'm going with 1.5 water towers. I know.
Wow.
Hey,
my face was going, ooh.
Yeah, take out that beginning part. Maybe I'll come back but Newsreel of the Stars, cut that out.
But Nathan, I was just thinking, like, you were talking about Newsreel of the Stars, and that's a filler. I looked and I timed it. Newsreel of the Stars and the Animaniacs theme song. If you put those 2 together, it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah,
that's a tenth of the episode right there. And I could see that hey,
cut that out 10 times. I got a whole new episode.
Yeah. So there you go. So it was okay. So there you go. So 1.5 from Nathan.
Yep.
Okay. Pretty brutal. Kelly, what do you say?
I'm going to be a little kinder and give it 2 water towers.
Okay. And what? Any thoughts? Why 2?
It wasn't horrible. I mean, it was okay. It was cute, but there wasn't anything to me that stood out as particularly funny. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Rita and Runt. I really only like Les Miserables, and that's my favorite episode of them. But it was okay. It wasn't unwatchable by any means. It was meh.
Yeah, I'll agree. I mean, I'll even be kinder than both of you together.
Okay.
I'll give it 2.5. Because again, it wasn't a bad episode. It kept my attention the whole way through. Mm-hmm. It did not make me laugh as some of the other ones, but it certainly wasn't bad. I would not say this is a bad episode. And I thought the intro to Rita and Runt was actually a lot better than I had originally thought it was going to be. I was not looking forward to it. But I kind of liked it. The song, I wish it was a little bit better. I think the music behind Bernadette Peters was actually, I think that's the part of the song I didn't like. I liked Bernadette Peters' voice. I just think the orchestration behind her could have been redone. I would was thinking to myself the second time I watched it this morning, boy, I bet this would sound a lot better if they just did something with the music behind her, like made it a bigger orchestration. Instead it was kind of just snapping. I heard a lot of snap, 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 and I was like, okay, that's boring. So I don't know, 2.5 from me. So there you go. Well, let's move on to something a little more fun, a little more exciting. We're going to go ahead and talk about some positive reviews that we got, because we have, in case you didn't know, some contests going on. In fact, only one contest that I'm aware of, actually. Do we have more than one contest? I think it's just one.
Just one, but we have participation things.
We have more participation. And again, the contest is, what we're getting is a whole assortment of different Animaniacs decals of various shapes and sizes. We have Pinky, one of Pinky, one of the Brain. We have the Animaniacs heads, and we also have one of called, it says put a brain in the White House. One that I put together that's really cool right there too. So.
Perfect for the year.
Perfect for this year, yes. Mm-hmm. Where you have to, many people are complaining about, I don't want to vote for either side. Well, you can vote for the Brain.
Now we got a third candidate. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So, so you can win this very easily by going to iTunes and leaving us a positive review, and then you will be put into the running, and we're gonna keep it going for a little while longer, at least until we get just a few more people to enter it in, and then we'll have enough people to put into a hat, and then we'll pull out a winner, and then you will win all of those awesome decals that you can just slap on things that you want to slap decals on. So Nathan, we have at least 3 more reviews that you want to do?
Yeah. I guess I can read all 3 of them.
Sure. Let's go ahead.
These are just 3 of, I'm sure there's even more by the time this comes out.
Of course.
Yeah. But I'll go ahead and read some of these. So this one is from Swampy19. He says, love it. That's the subject. And then says, great show. Love the recaps and thoughts. You need to get Rob Paulson on the show. Such a nice guy. Now give me my decals.
Okay.
LOL.
Well, here you go. So
see, there you go.
He's demanding of us. He wants not only Rob Paulson, but he wants decals. Okay, so we'll see what we can do.
We'll see about that. No.
Technically, we had Rob Paulson kind of on the show, our second episode, right?
So we already have.
Yeah. We had him singing a song to Kelly. So there you go. What's another review that we got, Nathan?
Okay, this is from Rocky2689. It says, a great podcast. That's the subject. It says, a great podcast. That's the subject. A great podcast about the 90s piece of nostalgia. Very good chemistry amongst the hosts. That's us. All adding interesting and informative points to what they have to say. I will definitely be listening for a long time! !
Wow.
Probably like an hour, because that's how long.
That's how long our show is, about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah,
there you go.
So probably about how long he'll listen. And then this one says, hello, podcast. This is from Stephen Brandon.
I think it was meant to be read, hello, podcast.
Well, he didn't put lots of O's or an exclamation point, so it just says, hello, podcast.
Hello, podcast. Hello.
This podcast is slowly turning into one of my favorites after some...
Slowly.
Yeah, after some sound issues in the first few eps. Sorry, Steven. And some umming and ahhing. Okay.
I don't know about that.
Over who should go first and who should describe a segment, the 3 hosts are starting to gel as a unit. And they give great coverage of every Animaniacs episode. There is a great insight into all the references and gaps in each episode, plus great clips from the show and the show's movies they are parroting. I now look forward to rewatching every episode on Netflix and then listening to the podcast. And please do, Stephen. We look forward to hearing more from you.
Very cool. And I have one more positive thing to add that was sent to us via Facebook. Now, this is not going to be in the running, by the way, for our package
unless
giveaway.
they copy and paste it.
If they copy and paste it into iTunes, it'll be put in.
Boom.
This is from Jim Rekznik. He has a very interesting last name. And Jim says, I'm not on Facebook much, but this show needs a following. It is fantastic. Give it a listen. If you don't agree, I'll return your money. So there you go.
Money back guarantee. That's
Money
great.
back guarantee. You pay 0 and you get 0 back. Isn't that awesome?
I love it.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, let's see. And we also have, of course, our Yakko's World thing where you can share out a picture of you and Yakko. We have many people who have sent those in, and Nathan by now would have posted his picture of Yakko.
Yeah, I hope you guys like it.
In front of, we posted in front of the Paul Bunyan right there. Is that what
That's what it is?
There you go. So we have a Paul Bunyan in Tucson, and so Yakko is in front of Paul Bunyan. Go check him out, and you can just send a picture via Twitter and put the hashtag Yakko's World on it, and we'll go ahead and retweet that and share it out with all of our followers on Twitter. So join the fun. It's some really cool pictures out there. If you don't have a stuffed Yakko doll, just print up a picture of Yakko. In fact, one of our listeners, oh gosh, I'm just forgetting his name. The listener you just read his review, who Steven something, put a picture of his Animaniacs comic book right there. Whatever, that counts. So let's go ahead and give out some contact information. Nathan, where can you be found?
Django FT on
Django
Twitter. Yep, Django FT, because it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Hey, Django FT. Think Nathan.
That's right. And Kelly, how about yourself?
I am on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS, or Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
Yes, and you can check out Kelly's writings on BigShinyRobot.com as well. And as for me, if you really want to get in contact with me personally, you can say hi to Joey in Tucson on Twitter. And of course, if you want to get in contact with us, all of us for the show, it's twitter.com/Animaniacast, facebook.com/Animaniacast, or Animaniacast@gmail.com. All those different options. Boy, oh boy, we're all here for you to say hi. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Kelly. Okay, so for the Animaniacast and Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody. Mwah! There we go.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Hey, mister, pull a rabbit out of your pants.